Shadow of Mordor is a game that was not on my radar. Should have been.
Oh, it was my dark horse.
Kind of like Red Dead Redemption, man. That game was not on my radar.
Can I, shots fired, can I call out Bloodworth? We came to the office back from E3. I said, Shadow of Mordor, guaranteed Game of the Year contender. That game looks amazing. It's going to be epic. He laughed.
I don't know about Game of the Year contender. Action Game of the Year contender for sure. Yeah. So far, and I haven't played Unity yet, but this is like the black flag for me of this year. Like, I love running around this world and chopping orcs' heads off. It's tough to explain that and sell that to somebody, and it's tough to say like that can really carry you through the whole experience, because there's a lot of nuance to a game like Assassin's Creed. There's lots of interesting things you can do, espionage missions, building bombs, all sorts of fun conversations that you can have. Like, not a lot of deep conversations you're gonna have with the denizens of Mordor. Like, they're all very simple, very abrasive. Yeah. But like everything about the game feels abrasive. Like, everything's fast, everything's like very loud, very gory, and there's just a ton of fun things you can do in combat. It's a fun game to demo. It's a fun game to like run around. It's a fun game like Devil May Cry, where it's not like, yeah, you've attacked this enemy like 50 times already, but like, how are you gonna kill this guy? You know, and I still feel that I'm doing that, 20 plus, possibly even closer to 30 hours in. But you have problems.
So I played last night, first time.
If we want the views, man, if we want people to get into the video, we should probably start yelling at each other.
Okay, so there were two things that got me right away. One was the difficulty. It doesn't need to be Dark Souls style. Not every game needs to be as difficult as Dark Souls, but I like feeling comfortable, or feeling like I'm rewarded for being good at a game, and putting context into it. Like, I went into an unknown zone randomly. I'm just running around right when I get into the game, and I encounter 4 commanders all right there. I killed every single one in the very beginning of the game. Just didn't get hit because I played so much Batman Arkham Knight.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, this doesn't feel rewarding at all. I'm just God in this game. There's no stakes at all.
Right.
The stakes are not high. I can just go through, carve my way through anyone. What's even the point of leveling up? What's even the point of getting money, finding skills and abilities if I can just kill anyone at any time? And then 2 was just the hit detection felt kind of weird. Like, slicing an enemy didn't have the weight of, say, Batman. I'm going to compare it to Batman. I'd say the combat. Sure. I'd say the combat is definitely a step above Assassin's Creed, but a step and a half below.
Which
Batman.
is interesting because it's so visceral. You're like, slicing body parts off and stuff like that, and like it's a lot gorier. But yeah, Batman definitely has much more impact. And I think a lot of certainly Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I think, are better games than this.
Like the Batman challenge rooms, when you crank those up on hard and you have to get gold, you are working for that. When you beat one of those, it is like, yes, I did it. This is hard. I'm Batman. I'm super strong, but I'm vulnerable when there's 15, 20 guys around me. And in this, you just literally feel like God.
I think, well, just get off your high horse for a couple seconds. Maybe you're just really good at this game and other people. I definitely noticed the game does do that, I think, intentionally right at the beginning. Like, it's like, go over here, and they put like 4 captains in your way. And I think they do that so one will kill you, and then that will introduce the whole system of, when you die, stuff happens. People get promoted. People will move around, challenge other people. Generally, as time passes in the games, like stuff will get shuffled up. One counter that I'll make that I appreciated about the game, because not only do you start the game off like that, but like at the end, I have like one of the last things I unlocked was just like kill everybody. It's like, it's not just like an AoE kill, but like you earn free execution. You get an execution, you get an execution, so you can just like chop everybody's heads off. But the game, I felt, did a good job, at least enough to entertain me in an open world, about presenting different situations. So like, if you want to go after a war chief, that war chief will have bodyguards, and you can see who's protecting him, and you can go take those bodyguards out and then go attack the war chief if you want to make that fight easier. Or you can just go at a war chief and have him have like 3, 4 captains flanking him and make that a really difficult fight. I definitely felt there were times, unlike Batman, where, and maybe this is just a next-gen thing, I haven't played the game on 360 and PS3, but like, I got a ton of orcs on screen at moments. I don't know if you've noticed that.
There were
but, like,
a ton.
I definitely went in areas where if they're off your screen, it'll be, it's like a yellow triangle if they have spotted you, but they don't know where you are. It's a red triangle if they see you and they're coming at you. And it's just like they're all flashing, and it's like a flirt, like a hornet's nest of just like flashing red triangles. So. Again, that'll make it interesting and dynamic that you can just, and there's different guys later on in the game, like just like Batman does, like guys that you can't, the guys that'll counter your attacks, guys that have shields that you have to get those down. But it's a question like how powerful do you want to make, like by the end of a God of War, do you still feel challenged?
Well, that's the thing. It's like God of War on normal versus hard and God mode is an entirely different game, which I respect because you can put it on normal and carve your way through everyone. You won't even die. But if you put it on God mode, you have to block, you have to parry, you have to dodge around, roll around. So I wish there were difficulty settings. Like, there's no difficulty setting in the game. You just start off. And yeah, again, it doesn't need to be Dark Souls. I'm not some power tripping elitist on difficulty, but I do like feeling good about beating a fight and feeling vulnerable and feeling rewarded for leveling up skills. That's my favorite thing, is like doing all the side quests to get money and to get skills in video games because I need them. It's like, all right, I need that skill. I got that skill. Yes, now it'll be a little bit easier. Whereas I feel like I don't even need any of that in this game already.
Well, that's just because you're just a great player. Are you skilled at these games? You brought up Dark Souls. Like, I think it's it could still be something that they could do for DLC. It could still be something they could do potentially for a sequel. I haven't finished the game, so I don't know if it gets like burned at the stake at the end or something. But potentially, if this becomes a franchise, they could do more games down the road.
I'm already hoping for the next one where it's not all in Mordor, and there's like towns and stuff, and you can buy.
Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting because you can, if you're a Tolkien fan, there's a lot you can really appreciate. There's a lot of old stuff that they reference. A lot of fun new characters.
I just read all the lore.
It's not, they don't like I remember playing Force Unleashed and being like, wow, this game is cocky as far as like just the story that they told, and they're like, I bet you didn't know this happened, and it's like, it's because it didn't, but thanks. Whereas this is like, they're talking a lot about stuff that did happen way back in the day, and like it's just a bunch of orcs, man. Nobody's gonna remember these guys, so like you don't really get the sense that it's really like disrupting the story.
Yeah, just little spiders around, and you get a little lore drop on a spider, and it's like these spiders report to Shelob. Like, just a little nod.
But I just think it's such a fascinating system with how you actually care about guys. Like one, just the way that system works, that kind of web, even just the open world, like seeing a Grog like taking out Caragors, which are in turn like chasing after orcs and like eating them, and I'm like on a tower watching this from like 200, 300 yards. There was one guy named like Grog the Stupid. I think it was Grog the Dumb. Like, I don't remember his first name, but his last name was the Dumb, and he took me out and he got on the first tier. And I was like, I wasn't even fighting that guy. I was fighting like 20 guys, and he was the guy that just happened to land like the killing blow. It was only after, like, you can recover, but you can only recover twice. So that third recover, it's like, well, I'm automatically dead. So he gets bumped up there, and then I decided to do something else, and I forgot that over time they would shift, and he just happens to like take on another captain, so he gets promoted. I'm like, no, not the Dumb, and he ended up being a bodyguard of a war chief that I finally didn't kill the guy until like later on the story said like you have to get all these war chiefs, and so I like went after him, and like the Dumb pops up, and he's like all cocky and all like saying mean things at me, and it's like I've never had that happen in an open world game, and it's funny. Because they get like armor upgrades, and it's funny to see this little scrawny dude just like, yeah, I'm a war chief now. Like,
that's right.
And I've never like I'm totally obsessed with open world games. So it's fascinating that somebody did this new system, because it could have also sucked hardcore. Like, how often we've heard like some licensed game is like, oh no, but we're doing this whole new thing, and then you play it, it's like it just doesn't. You didn't spend a lot of time with this. It just doesn't work. And the system is really fascinating. I definitely want to see it make sense for orcs. But it's too damn easy for my cuber, apparently.
a little bit.
What other games other than God of War do you think you get like powerful like that? Like, you think where it's just like, oh man, I'm just running around like.
Well, where you're just
hacking
empowered.
heads.
Man, I don't even know.
Because it is a stealth game. That's the other thing to consider.
I want to say that. Yeah, the stealth is really good. Like Assassin's Creed doesn't even hold a torch.
Well, because you can get super powerful in Assassin's Creed and travel all over the place, and nobody bothers you. Like, you can be on horseback and just run right through a bunch of guys and not worry about it. Where like there are enemies all over the place in both Mordor and the second like grassy area.
To answer your question, Assassin's Creed, you're just invincible. It's so hard to die in that game because it's just counter, parry, counter, hit. So
again, you just add some new boss type or some enemy type in a DLC or something, and they can maybe change that up. So
I just wish there was a difficulty setting.
Well, hopefully they're hearing you, man. Hopefully WB and Monolith implements that in the future. So you got to play the game, or are you going to continue playing the game?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
No, despite my criticisms, I love it. I love the game. the right off the bat, the story, you know, I was so hyped because I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings, and the second it starts and you just see the Black Gate, I'm like, all right, it's on.
Right.
Here we go. Middle
And
Earth.
like Gollum shows up, and you're like, oh, Gollum again. But it's like, no, it actually it does make sense because it's a lot about they talk about the rings a lot because a lot of the characters are tied to that. So, yeah, and I haven't beat it yet, so I'm curious to see how the whole thing wraps up. So, but legitimate concerns. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna give it a good score, but thanks.
Yeah.
Now you may deal the death blow and prove